the time, your gateway to the world. AFR! American Freedom Radio. Give it to them.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and happy Thursday. It is January 31, 2013, and hope you are having a lovely day. Tonight we got a big topic, so welcome and thank you for joining us here tonight. Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. If you would like to join us for the text chat tonight, that's over at souljourneysradio.com. Any questions or comments, please feel free to give us a call at 218-339-8525. That's 218-339-8525. Our special guest tonight is Tobias Lars, a.k.a. Saint Toby One Kenobi, and he is the author of one of my favorite books, Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls, which you can find at his website, soulcounseling.com. He is a soul counselor or personal awakening coach, and the topic tonight, good and evil spirituality. And most importantly, how can you tell the difference? Lots of questions we're going to try to go over tonight, but please feel free to share your input and experience as well. But it is so good to have you here tonight, Tobias. How are you doing?
Nice topic. We must be very serious and somber about this most dangerous of topics.
That's right. No laughing, no giggling, no having fun. It's very dark and drab and draining and monotone.
Dark Dark Shadows, the TV show. Yes.
Is that that's a real TV show?
I think so. There used to be some like soap opera about vampires in black and white in the 60s or something. I heard of it. I wasn't in the country at the time. We must talk about Aleister Crowley and Anton LaVey and the Church of Satan, and these are very scary topics. Exactly. So... and skinwalkers and dark brujos and shamans that steal our energy and reptilians that eat our brains, and all that's very dangerous. We shouldn't actually even talk about it, because talking about it will draw it to you.
That's right.
Feel that? Now feel that belief, right? We have this belief of, I don't even want to go near it, I don't want to think about it, I don't want to look at it, and all that. And yes, there's some truth to that. You don't want to obsess over it and draw it near you. At a certain point, you can get overwhelmed by this stuff, and so that's true. But then also at a certain point in your soul's evolution, you need to admit, acknowledge, and look at, quote, the dark side, our shadow. Every soul who gains their freedom needs to go through the gateways of whether it's the hero's journeys or Jesus facing Satan, El Shatan in the desert, or the Necronomicon and all the evil spirits and jinn and all this stuff. I remember when someone first told me about the book, the Necronomicon, and they said, you shouldn't even start looking at it, you'll start attracting those demons, Now there's some truth to this, okay? But at a certain point in your soul's evolution, these things are not to be feared. They are part of the creation. Things are what they are. God's source, the big source, is the creator of all of it. The yin, yang, dark, white, all the sides. And it is I love this saying, your belief in evil is a measure of your ignorance. Your belief in evil is a measure of your ignorance. Now, that's kind of harsh and direct in a way. I think it's from the book Illusions, where Donald Shimoda, the Messiah from Fort Wayne, Indiana, is talking to Richard in the book, And the Messiah's handbook tells them your belief in ignorance. Like, I might have the quote a little bit wrong, but there's some truth to that. All that is good, ultimately. The rest is us are deciding. It's all energy. Nature knows no evil. Now, feel that one. Nature knows no evil. There's no garbage in nature. There's nothing wrong. Mother Earth doesn't think fungus is wrong or evil. You know, the fungi that grow on the trees that have fallen over, I don't want to even call them dead. That fungus is not evil. In fact, some of those funguses sell for hundreds of dollars. They're called truffles.
Yeah.
And our fancy French truffles sell for more than gold, worth their weight in gold. So it's all in the eye of the beholder. Evil, good, and so forth, you know. If a young child, or if someone who's never seen doctors in hospitals, and someone is having their appendix taken out because it's about to rupture, and a native person who's never seen doctors sees this doctor cutting into the other person, opening them up, and taking something out while they look like aliens with all their headgear and masks on, that person is going to go back and say, there's this ultimate evil, these beings that tie us down and sedate us and cut us open and steal our souls, you know. Mm-hmm. So it has to do not with perception, some. So we're going to broach this subject tonight with ignorance, not meaning in the sense of ignorance. I just made a video for the courseofawakening.com called Ignorance is Good. Now that's
I agree with that.
It's a little bit to help shock people. But the innocent perception, the Zen master is after ignorance, not knowing. The word ignorance, I don't know, gnosis, knowing, you know, gnostic means to know. Not knowing is you don't have any preconceived notions. You are judgment-free. You're judgment-free. You are before the knowledge of good and evil. Innocent perception, which is where beginner's luck comes from. You ever watch people that, I've never bowled, and they roll 5 strikes, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because they don't know it's difficult. Yeah. And so we have this place of innocence before we fall into judgment zone.
Yes.
So we're going to play with some of that tonight, too, as we're talking about these things that go on in cultures that have developed over thousands of years on Earth. So, but anything that triggers some fear in you is an opportunity for you to gain some energy. This is true magic now, shamanism, gaining energy in the sense of healing yourself. If there's something that you know is an issue in yourself, you don't want to overwhelm yourself and go to bite off more than you can chew, but it's not running from your fears that makes you strong. It's going into the dark, into your shadow, into your fears, and healing them or embracing them or showing them up for what they are. They're just energies, no big deal. The evil-looking pit bulldog that can be barking at you, they're like gargoyles. Gargoyles are these sweet beings. They're wonderful, you know. But you have to get past. If you buy into their ferocious look, then they got you fooled. It's usually the beast. That's why we love Beauty and the Beast. That archetype. I mean, it's still playing nowadays. Disney makes, cartoon movies out of it. The Beauty and the Beast, because there's something beautiful in these gateway guardians. Between the dimensions, there's guardians that present, meaning they have a presentation face, they have a facade, they be frontin', okay? That they're really harsh and tough, where they're really beautiful. Often there's certain human beings like that that'll be really hardcore, but if you gain their loyalty, can you say Hell's Angels, right? That are really beautiful, beautiful people. But if you don't get past the fearsome exterior, they're actually reflecting you back to you, your own subconscious fears. Snakes do this, by the way. Snakes are innocent reptilian energies. We are reptilian energies. The first part of the nervous system, the brain, the first little bulge on the spinal column is formed by an egg that folds in a little bit. It has like a little channel that folds in, and that's where it's going to grow the spine in that egg that becomes a being, a pig or a human or a chicken, doesn't matter. Right? It folds in, and then at the top of end of this fold of the nervous system, it starts growing the brain. The first growth of the brain, the first layers are the reptilian brain.
Yeah.
So in a sense, the reptiles are right when they say we are the most fundamental. We are the beginning. You know, they're right. So humans are reptilian. So all this fear-mongering of whether it's David Icke or whatever, yeah, it's true there's good and bad reptilians in the universe, but they're not all bad. Again, the general broad brush stroke thing, looking at the surface, is not a good idea. It's not the truth, you know. It's only when we broad brush and surface decide, we surface judge. Prejudice means judge, prejudge. If you prejudice people without, you know, don't judge a book by its cover, you are vulnerable to mimicking spirits and angels masquerading as angels, you know.
Yeah.
And when we learn our intuition, into you I see, intuition, into it, not surface it, into it, intuition, we can't be fooled again. So this is how we learn, and if we buy off on it, if someone presents in a beautiful way, whether that is shaman drums and rattles, or whether that is $5,000 silk suits and beautiful portfolios that show wonderful ROI, return on investment, and I've been doing it for 12 years, and so-and-so, celebrity so-and-so are my clients, and you fall for it, and it turns out that he made off with your money, burning off, you weren't using your intuition.
Yeah. And I also, Tobias, just to kind of expand on, you know, what you said that, oh, this is scary and we shouldn't talk about it because it'll bring it to you. I mean, true, that which I feared has come upon me. But at the same time, ignoring it or pretending it doesn't exist doesn't make it so either. I mean, I know I've tried that one. That was the common belief. In fact, most of my life I held that. Well, you know, if I don't give it any of my energy or don't believe in it, it doesn't exist. Therefore, it can't affect me.
Yes.
And I've certainly been proven wrong in that belief. So we're not talking about it to, you know, make people fear it, but we just kind of want to bring it out into the open and let people know, you know, the possibilities. But the truth is, it really doesn't have to have any power over us.
The word occult, in its form, it's not evil, but occluded, occult, simply means hidden, in the dark. When you have an occlusion in your diamond ring, there's this piece of little black carbon that makes it not flawless, or a VVS1 or however they grade it. So occult simply means ignorant of, in the dark, hidden behind the curtain. The little wizard of Oz is hidden behind the curtain, so you fear him. Okay? You fear, he's a little pudgy dude. This is often the case when you pour the water of truth on the Wicked Witch of the West. She melts. I'm melting. Right? So the truth does set you free. It does melt all of it. And we as children of Source, of God, if you will, have the power to melt all false imagery or wayward illusions and belief systems and see what's really going on. But it's a game. You know, it's a game of good and bad. It's a play, really. And you do need some black hats to have the movie, you know. And this doesn't mean that it's easy. You shouldn't go challenging Satan at the moment. I wouldn't recommend it. Because these beings are very powerful. They are much bigger than human beings. Some of them, Jehovah is a god, you know. And the thing is, you have backup in the sense that you have the Christos, the human oversoul is bigger than any, quote, denial evil, okay? And since you're a human being or any being, you have access to that. You got backup. I got people, okay? So even if you as an individual spirit cannot take on a black wizard spirit like Darth Vader or something, you know, which these guys exist. I mean, that's a movie, obviously, but there are some large, powerful, the Watchers, the Ancient Ones, the Archons. You call them what you want. These beings are large beings, and they have more power than most of the vast majority of human beings or beings in human bodies at this time. So you can't take them on by yourself, and you don't want to invite the battle. You will learn the hard way. Mind control, addictions, seduction into power, those temptations that are usually that everyone goes through. Once you get a little power, you're like, whoa, I can make people like me. Okay? Or some people. About 15% of humans are not hypnotizable. The rest are. Statistically, 15% of humans you can't hypnotize unless they decide to let you. 85% of humans are programmable fairly easy.
Yeah, and the ones that think they can't be programmed or hypnotized are the ones that are easiest to program or hypnotize, at least in some of my experience and others' opinions. But it is that time. We will talk about this after this short break. Stay tuned, everyone. Tobias Lars here on SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
No rules. No rules. No taboo topics. No taboo topics. No fear of doom. No fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
Right, welcome back. Thanks again for joining us here tonight with Tobias Lars here on SoulJourneysRadio.com. And we are talking about, quote, good and, quote, evil spirituality. How can you tell the difference? And that was a very good intro, Tobias, and I will do my best to not judge the other side.
It's all what it is. I mean,
yeah.
What came up during the break just now for me was if you are looking for a fight, in other words, these energies that feed off of others and go looking to steal energy from others, okay, which is a definite phenomena, they can only hook into you. In other words, it's like a bully. Someone's looking for a fight, right? If you put in the clutch, if you don't appear on the radar, if you don't engage, they will not do that with you. But they will find, you know what I'm saying? There's a bully. Some people won't fight with them, others will. Okay, someone's looking for a fight, you know? So that's on the energetic level. These beings are looking to trigger you. They're looking to get you to react. They're looking to get you to hook in, to engage. If you engage, they will then enjoy draining your energy.
Yeah, but at the same time, even when you walk away from a bully, per se, they still want to get you.
Well, some do.
Yeah, some.
But there is a way to not appear on the radar and to not engage in it. I found in my life, there's a time when I was very angry at stuff, and this is a phase we need to be exactly where we're at. And I'm not saying to jump ahead. I used to be angry at all kinds of injustices, this, that, and the other. Yeah, sure enough. Well, that doesn't help at the MVD to tell those people you're a fat slug working for the government.
That's true. But
Okay.
if the fat slug from the government, attacks you or whatever, is it okay to call him a fat slug working for the government? Or are we just supposed to, oh, well, fine, go ahead and beat me up, I'll do anything you want?
No, yeah, obviously not. In the spiritual realm, there's no laws except the laws of energy. Archangel Michael doesn't follow the laws of the United States. Archangel Michael will liberate those beings from their bodies.
I saw him smoking a joint last night.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, you're right. He does not follow the laws.
In the spiritual realm, if the stories that were hidden about Jesus, the King of Hearts, Mr. Prince of Peace, he kills a little boy, a playmate, when he is a child. Jesus kills a little boy in the Gospel of Thomas.
All right.
That's not adhering to man's myopic laws, meaning, oh, it should be this way, we should be nice all the time. That's not how it works.
Yeah, it doesn't work either.
when people come down to Ayahuasca land and they see the shaman that runs the ceremony, and then, they'll see him chop the head off the guinea pigs in the back, and, they're going to cook them for lunch. Okay?
Yeah.
That doesn't fit, rainbows and unicorns and sweetie pie. No. When you're dealing with energy, you match energy. You are, it's Aikido, and that's more honest. It's like spiritual martial arts. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are white wizards and black wizards, you could say. Those that feed off the meek and those that encourage the meek to wake up. Those that feed off the less knowledgeable, and those that are encouraging others to reclaim their own power or to grow into their own power and godhood, And so these two schools exist. Service to self, it's been called, or service to others. I don't really like that way of saying it sometimes. So absolutely not. Archangel Michael will chop heads and ask no questions.
Okay, let me ask you this, Tobias. Several people mentioned in the chat, well, they haven't heard that particular story on about Jesus killing a boy, and someone else asked, is there a reason given for why he killed a boy when he was a child?
I think it appears. Now, you got to remember, all these stories are written through filters, right? But Thomas was the most erudite, the most scholarly, the most knowledgeable, the most intellectual of the disciples. So he probably wrote more about deeper methodology, spiritual physics of things, right? So his book was not included in the canon, right? But I think the Dead Sea Scrolls or the Nag Hammadi, I forget which, they did discover a Gospel of Thomas. I don't recall. I think it had something to do with that the playmate offended him in some way.
Oh, okay.
But look it up. Google it. Gospel of Thomas, I'm sure it's there.
All right.
My point is to use a bit of a shocking story that when we think it's namby-pamby spirituality, that's not what's going on, There's time that your energy is very strong, and, I'll give another story. One of the best trilogies of books ever, Deng Ming Dao wrote a true story biography of his life called the Taoist Chronicles, I think. The first book is The Wandering Taoist, Deng Ming Dao. And this is his story about the end of the Taoists on Mount Huashan in China, which is now a tourist place, basically. But before the second, early 1900s, it's been going on for hundreds of years. These were the real Taoists. I mean, these guys, it's crouching tiger, flying dragon, right? These are the real guys. And they didn't live by man's law. They lived by the qi, the qigong, the flow of the Tao. And that law is very different than man-made laws. And there's a scene where the Grand Master, they don't even know how old he is, because these guys played with immortality and lived hundreds of years through various techniques. And Deng, the guy who writes this, eventually comes to America. You can get his books. Beautiful. If you ever had lifetimes of martial arts, this is a beautiful completion, it was for me, of those lifetimes. But he is raised with a brother disciple. They're the closest of close. They're the same age, the only two and this and that, and they're like total brothers, And they're taken up on the mountain by the time they're 10 years old and receive this training. And he's allowed to live with the Grand Master. He sees it all from the inside. And at one point, his brother disciple Butterfly, quote, turns bad. He starts using the qi, the powers of influence, as an assassin out in the world, and he also starts running prostitution rings and working with the Chinese underworld in Shanghai. I forget the guy's name, Du Yushen or something, who is a historical figure. Well, anyway, Butterfly, his brother disciple, goes, quote, bad. So his job is to go hunt him down and bring him back to the mountain for justice, or to the master to see if he can be reformed or come back on the path or whatever. And it's an interesting story on, all the things that go on. And it's a true story. Well, eventually he escapes several times and talks him out of it one time and says to Deng, there is no good or bad. Why are you judging what I'm living? In the great Tao, all is accepted. And Deng falls for this. See, this is discernment. You have to learn this yourself. I can talk about it, and I'm learning it, and I've advanced compared to where I was in other lifetimes, but I got a ways to go. Second time Deng catches his brother Butterfly, they do bring him back in shackles, wrist shackles, to the master. When the master and Butterfly meet, there's no words that are exchanged. They stand there for a few minutes, and the Grand Master simply, without unshackling Butterfly, meaning his hands are shackled behind his back, the Grand Master simply burst Butterfly's heart with a palm blow over his heart. Now, if we're judging that out of a knowledge of good and evil spiritual mind, and you have prejudices, i.e. predecisions of what should happen or shouldn't happen, you may have lots of judgment on that situation. Mm-hmm. Whether good or bad or right or wrong. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Deeper truth. Now, is the Grand Master evil? Is Butterfly evil? This is up to you to decide. Mm-hmm. But energy flows where energy goes. Is the volcano evil in on the big island of Hawaii as she eats 3 houses and goes around another house inexplicably? What's going on? Mm-hmm. Why does Jesus curse the fig tree? Why would the heart master of love, Jesus, Jeshua, curse a fig tree? What the heck is that? Mm-hmm. So we have these ideas of good and evil.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, you could say. But there's something much bigger going on behind the scenes. Why does Miley, our dog, eat? We may explain it away with science and survival of the fittest and Darwinism and all this. Why do some dogs eat their puppies?
Yeah.
That's evil, is it?
Yeah.
There's a bigger picture. And so what I did years, and I recommend to everybody, is go, okay, lead me from the unreal to the real. Lead me from the unreal to the real. There is something real. The universe is a pretty magical creation, unbelievable creation, right?
Definitely.
sun, and star systems, and precessions of equinoxes, a pyramid sitting over there in Egypt. We have no clue how that thing was built, as far as modern science at least. But you can tap into the Akashic records and find out. You have direct access. You can approach it through your mind, or you can start approaching it through, I want to see what's really going on, instead of being up in arms about, this is wrong, kill the 1%, the evil banksters. Shut up. Get a life.
Yeah.
I'm being harsh. And at the same time, it's important to expose the horrible International Bank of Settlements, Evelyn de Rothschild, and, all the shenanigans and the Fed. And of course. But there is a bigger picture behind it all. If you do not want to be flotsam and jetsam on the game of good and evil, but you will learn the hard way. Because the denial wizards, the dark brujos, the ones that steal energy, feed energy, will lie to you, say anything to use you. They have no quote morality, code of honor. There's two roads you can go by, Led Zeppelin says, but it's true, right? The one road I'll try, you could say it this way, is spirits that have gone before us that are larger spirits, more knowledgeable, more, Jesus, Krishna, Buddha, Yogananda, St. Francis, Teresa of Avila, Mary Magdalene, Kuan Yin, Mataji, Anandamoyi Ma. There's thousands of spirits that have gone before us. They're very powerful beings. Mm-hmm. They'll help you. Call them up. Sit down. Shut up. Tune in and call them up. They'll talk to you. That might be good advice compared to, I don't know who you're talking to now. Thought. And they will share with you their journey, and there are many of those that want to encourage us to become ye as gods, also as your Father is in heaven. Be ye therefore perfect as your Father is in heaven. Don't you know ye are gods, Jesus says, right? And other Buddha says the same thing. I'm just like you. Every teacher like that. And then there are teachers that enjoy putting you down so they can be up above you. Mm-hmm. That's allowed too. It's okay. But as long as you don't want to reclaim your own godhood, I heard someone say yesterday, I like this, get a picture of yourself, blow it up, stick it on the wall, put some flowers around it or something, and in the morning get up and look at it and go, you are my teacher.
That's a good idea.
But if you're not ready for your own inner teacher,
yeah, that makes sense, Tobias. I'm sorry, hold that there. It is break time again, so we will be back in these few short minutes. Tobias Lars, soulcounseling.com is the website. Stay tuned, souljourneysradio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Yo, what's up? Check this out. The voice of the revolution. American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
All right, right, welcome back. Thanks again for joining us here tonight. Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com, starring Obi-Wan Kenobi tonight. We are talking about good and evil spirituality. And I love what you said before we went to break, Tobias. It sounds like a really good idea to kind of, blow up your own picture and identify yourself as my teacher, but at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, I am totally screwed if I'm my own teacher, right?
Well, teachers are...
reconcile that?
Yeah, I know. It is changing. There's a wave of more us, instead of having gurus, teachers, leaders, people in funny hats and staffs that are in funky robes and fancy underwear that are supposed to lead you, that we're taking our power back. And by the way, this has to do with across the board, people being less sheeple and less owned cattle. Why do they call them steers? Because they steer you in the wrong direction. Yeah, so we are taking our power back. The guru, you are you, exactly. But there's nothing wrong with teachers as well. You can say, no, I want to learn from, someone else. That's fine. But at a certain point, you may experience that teacher doing what the mama bear does when the cubs are, whatever they are, 2 years old. She kind of snarls at them, and she'll hurt them if they don't leave her.
Yeah.
The mama bear will hurt those cubs if they don't leave her. She'll bite them. Because they need to get on with it and get a life of their own. So, true teachers know when that is the case. And Osho or Babaji will say, it's time for you to leave. They have no interest in keeping you around as a follower, as a disciple, as a devotee, as a servant. They don't want that. But the dark hand path, if you will, the sucking energy off of other souls path, they want followers. They want numbers. They want numbers. They want what Ron Hubbard said, we need fresh meat. L. Ron Hubbard didn't just say it. We need fresh, new meat. And whether that's the be ye therefore fruitful and multiply. Notice, religion. Gee, wonder why the Mormons have so many kids.
Yeah.
Wonder why the Catholics have so many kids.
Yeah.
I'm telling some truth. Because the more souls you can put in bondage, the more you can feed off them. It's no different than creating cattle. The more cattle you have, the more power you get. So if you can trap life force energy into human bodies and get them all to worship you, you're getting some power in the earth. This is black magic.
Mm-hmm.
Black magic is getting people to send you their prayers. Pray for me. Please send your prayers and donations to our church. We need your prayers at this time. More than ever, the devil is attacking us. Send us your prayers. Right?
And your money.
And your money. Yeah.
And your children, yeah.
And not all Christianity and Pentecostal or charismatic preachers are bad. Some are real. But the thing is, you need to learn to discern, and this is where you separate the wheat from the chaff. Or it's just a choice. There's nothing wrong with the vampirous, sycophantic, blood-sucking, energy-feeding path. There's nothing wrong with that. Except you end up not sleeping so well at night because you always need to feed on people and other things. You're not feeding directly off your own inner well. If you want to be well, I suggest you get your own well.
Okay, because that's what I have trouble comprehending, Tobias. You mentioned in the last segment there's two paths, and but at the same time they're supposed to be the same thing, or we're all one. And how do you? If there's two paths, then obviously we pick a side, and I guess does that mean that we're forever stuck in duality? No.
Once you merge the oneness, then there's really no difference.
Okay.
The judgment goes away.
Okay, so you can still pick a side but not judge the other side? I mean, how does this work? Because I hate to think that I've resigned to duality the rest of my life, but the truth is I've chosen a side, and that's just the way it is. And I realize the other, side has a right to exist, and also is a wonderful learning tool, teaches experience, and, so I'm grateful for that too. But I'm kind of happy with my, so-called side. Am I damned?
No, that's what you've chosen and what you vibrate and what feels right for you. Now, again, it, bears repeating. It's like you don't treat the sycophantic vampire stuff. You don't invite them in, remember? Don't invite the vampire into your house. That's the rule number 3 of vampires, right?
What's rule number 1?
I don't know. Don't look into their eyes or something. I don't know. No. So yeah, you don't offer them space or love.
See, I've really screwed up there. Multiple times. I felt that, you make fun of, you can't be all nice and everything all the time or playing nice. And I really believed for most of my life that you can kind of show them love and that they'll, it'll feel good and then they'll want to be loving, right? So I've definitely made the mistake of going against my intuition and been loving to people I shouldn't have been. But then even just saying that, talking about this here, makes me question myself. Christie, you're being judgmental. Show everybody love. That's what you are. So what do you're damned if we do, damned if you don't.
No. What's love to the vampires?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's not what's loving to denial spirits. They don't want life. They don't want love. Love hurts them. Why do you think the Sex Pistols sing "Love Kills"?
Oh, yeah. Wow,
because from that perspective, they were nihilists. I mean, he's Johnny Rotten. I like him, but Johnny Lydon, Sid Vicious, God bless him, dying young. But they were showing us, come on, the frickin' hippie flower power. It's all frickin'. It's dark, it's nihilistic, it's anarchy and death, and nothing is loving. Don't give us love. Love kills. We don't want love. Don't love us.
Yeah,
we don't want your love. What they want...
You know what? They don't. They want your power, or they want to steal your power, your light, your energy. But see, at the same time, when you decide to cut them off and you're not going to give them your love anymore, then that kind of makes them go crazy too, in my experience.
Yeah.
So like, we're going to force you to conform to me.
Well, that's what we're doing. The loving spirits, come over to our side.
Oh, not really. I mean, I don't see you recruiting anyone.
Well, if we're sending them energy,
that's true.
Trying to change them and get them to see the light.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, I see that.
No, it doesn't. That's not what they want. And parts of us. I'm not. Most humans are mixed bags, but underneath it. Parts of us have death wishes, right? Come on, everyone who's actually...
Yeah, I've had a few.
There you go. So we have been infected, or we've absorbed some, or we've entertained this idea of, I don't want to exist anymore.
Now, that's a really good analogy that hits home with me, Tobias, and I just want to share this just in hopes that, maybe other people can also relate to it, but you're right. When I had a death wish, so to speak... That seems to be when I attracted the vampiric energies into my life. So, okay, I can see that.
At your service, ma'am.
I've definitely had a death wish or 2 or 12 in my life. So, okay, I can see that.
And there's nothing wrong in the sense forgiving. It's... Okay, the Taoist Zen masters, all of them, the Grand Master I just talked about, he's not judging Butterfly as he kills him.
Okay.
Hear that again. He's not judging, but I know people can't hear that one. They're going to freak out on that one. But it's sort of not personal. It is just the flow of life and energy. Maggots cannot feed on something if it's alive. Maggots are used in hospitals. Like when someone has necroscopy, where their skin dies and like they get frostbite and it turns black, or gangrene or something that's eating their flesh, right? The flesh has died. That we can get maggots and put them on that dying flesh, and they will eat it perfectly and stop exactly where the living cell. By the cell, they will stop.
Okay. All right, you're making sense. I'm getting it here. So, yay! Chuck went up to Tobias, always making things seem a little bit more clear. But it is that time. We must take a break. We will be back at the top of the second hour here with Tobias Lars, soulcounseling.com or courseofawakening.com is the website. Stay tuned. souljourneysradio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
No rules, no rules, no taboo topics, no taboo topics, no fear of doom, no fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio, American Freedom Radio.
All right. Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Top of the second hour, Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com with Tobias Lars. He is a personal awakening coach and the creator of courseofawakening.com and spiritualtravelers.com. And Tobias, lots of questions and stuff going on in the chat, so I'm going to try to get through all of it. But, you know, what comes to mind with what you were saying, I mean, I guess I have a question. We had a guest on the show in the past that suggested we must send love to those that do us harm. And, you know, she even mentioned, like Rockefeller, Rothschild, all the typical names that we hear. And, said, just meditate, send them your love, send them your light, and they'll feel it and they'll turn it. And, at first I was kind of appalled by it. In fact, I think we even probably got in an argument on the show. But then I decided, trust your triggers and, and I have to listen to it. Sometimes, you trigger me. People, I hear things that are like, what? Mm-hmm. But then, I'm in a better place than I was, say, 30 years ago, where I would have punched you in the face. But, so I sit on it and ask, is there any truth to this? Well, let's just try it and see. And so when I'm hearing what you said in the last segment, that, they hate love, so that's not necessarily good. So I guess my question is sending, quote unquote, them love, the ones who abhor love, is that one of the things that we do to kind of get ourselves on their radar?
Yes, and keep the game going, and it takes two to tango. It will entangle you energetically.
Okay, so I see how, they're trying to bring us to their side. Now I understand what you're saying. By us sending them love, we're trying to force them to come to this side of the fence, right?
Yeah, and the higher law is free will. And allowing others the freedom to be and choose and whatever, So there's no rules about it. See, if you set hard and fast rules, you're living in the world of rules, and if you live in the world of rules, you're going to get, ruled. If you're living in the world of rules, you're going to get ruled. Okay?
Yeah.
So it depends. It's more of a neutral thing. It's more of a, when you meet beings, for instance, real masters, yogi masters, let's say they have students they're working with, they will allow some evil people to come into the group just to stir stuff up. But it doesn't affect them. But it triggers the other people and their judgments. They don't have judgment on it. Like often, I'll give you an example. So, in ayahuasca ceremony, and my friend has heard me say this story before, Jehovah is a real being. He's not God, but he is an ET that came here with Anunnaki, whenever it was, 6,000 years ago or so. And he got rejected by his own people when they left the planet, and they said, listen, you've involved yourself with them so much, you got to stay behind. Besides, we don't want you around. And so he gets to play God on Earth. Now, a good way he can't manifest physically because whatever, right, genetically and so forth. But he certainly is there in etheric form. But in order for him to have power and keep feeding himself, he needs followers. Okay? And so these are the religions that they're all the same, in a sense. There's a battle there between Jesus trying to set them free, set the captives free, and Jehovah to keep the captives captive so he can feed on them. And if you don't judge him, so in the shamanic ceremony, one of the people attending the ceremony is hooked into Jehovah. He grew up Jehovah Witness. And so Jehovah is in there deep. He's like a barb. It's like a foxtail. It's in there in the spinal column. It's a barb stuck up in there. It's like those harpoons we used to use to get whales, right? It's those horrible little barbs. You can't pull it out. Those are energetic implants, you understand. You can do this. And you can do an energetic implant that then has a little tube coming off of it that you can draining people continually of energy. Okay? Yes. These are real. This is etheric, real, dark sorcery, if you will. And, by the way, this stuff works whether you're aware of it or not. It's true.
Yes.
I got a bunch of stories on that. People say, it can't work. It won't affect me. Really? Okay, well, it will.
Yes, it will. Or it can.
Right. That belief, well, if I don't believe in it, it won't affect me. That's not true.
That's not true. I know that to be true, that's not true.
See, there's Zen cone right there. So in this ayahuasca ceremony, this soul has to, of free will, decide, I'm done. I no longer want to be involved with Jehovah. Okay? And this can be anywhere in your life. No longer be involved with that other person or this type of atmosphere or this type of belief systems. Anytime you're getting out of these systems, it's a bit tricky sometimes. So the shamans are then helping. The shamans set up the space. They have protected space in the maloka, in the ceremonial house. And there's giant eagles, and there's Jesus, and Archangel Michael, and Mother Ayahuasca, and all kinds of help. Giant, strong, powerful beings. There's ETs, there's underworld beings. It's all happening at the zoo, okay? There is tons of stuff going on. But the shamans, these are good shamans in the sense that they're offering healing for people. They're offering cleaning out the pipes, cleaning out your energy system. Now, they're just doing what ayahuasca, Mother Ayahuasca, is telling them to do, and that's their intent. They like doing it that way. There's dark hand paths of that as well. We could talk about that, too. So in this particular situation, they're basically assisting this young man with, we're going to get the hooks, the barbs, the chains, the little hooks. They're like grappling hooks, kind of these feeding tubes, out of your solar plexus, out of your heart, and unhook you from Jehovah. Mm-hmm. Now, they do that. Okay, they unhook it, they retract, send those things back to Jehovah, right? Now, Jehovah will get a message that that's happening, okay? Mm-hmm. Obviously, because he's a large being. He's different. He's very psychic, very powerful, knows, he works with millions of people. Look at all the religions he's in charge of. Most of the Christian Protestant stuff is about 80% of Jehovahism. Anytime someone's saying we're the only way to God, you can know that's Jehovahism, okay? Because that's one of the simplest tricks he uses on everybody. So, or new sects and all that stuff. There's true Christians, beautiful Christians. I've met beautiful, true Christians that work with Jesus, and it's all mixed together, so it gets confusing. And so, anyway, so then, as my friend now feels really free. He's been disconnected from these draining energies, and he still had stuff to do. Well, he had to go back a second time to kind of help finish this up. Well, during the first ceremonies, he literally said to God, God, I can't handle it. Can you just help me? There is grace, okay? You can be helped by God, source, him, her, itself as well. He said, I can't deal with this. It's still purging. This is lots of years of purging stuff coming out. Spiritual path is not, I'll just say a prayer and I'll be saved and it's all over. That's not how it works. There's real grace, though. You can have massive miracles in the moment, yes. So he's actually out of his body in the first ceremony. He says, and he described it to me, he said, I'm sitting on the right-hand side of God. God's saying, stay here with me. And I'm looking down on my body, way down there on the floor, and they're working on me. The shamans are doing their, the smoke, and they're cleaning my energy and doing this and that and the other. And God's just, stay here with me. It's like I'm his puppy or something. It's really comforting. I feel so good. And when I come back into my body later that night, I just feel like a brand new person. It's like the second birth. Sound familiar? You must become born again, right? These are the ancient Egyptian mysteries. And he feels so good that in the next ceremony, he has a thought for an instant of, he gets cocky. See, we think we're healed and strong. We get cocky, right? Mm-hmm. And he has the thought, and the thought is basically, F you, Jehovah, I can take you now. Okay? That thought starts to form in him. Before the thought even forms, as it starts to even form, before it's being voiced in his brain, the thought, both the shamans jump out of their chairs, come rushing over to him, and start doing all kinds of stuff around him. And he doesn't remember much after that. Later that next day, he's getting a massage, and the guy who's there says, well, God, that was amazing what happened last night with Jehovah, and that they had to ward him off and his henchmen. And my friend goes, what are you talking about? Oh, you didn't hear? Oh, you better go talk to the shaman, and, I'm not supposed to talk about it. So he goes to the shaman and goes, what happened last night? What happened last night? And they said, Jehovah showed up with 2 of his generals, and they were going to, re-implant you and take you back in the fold. And he said, wow. And he said, I had this thought of, come on, I can take you on. And the shaman told him, said, don't do that. You can't take him on. He's much bigger than you. And when you did that, it made a lot of work for us because you basically re-invited him into your energy field, and we had to spend a half hour redoing that, unhooking everything out of you.
Okay.
So, when you go into battle mode, there's a tricky thing here of not judging. Archangel Michael is not judging. So the shamans, I was watching this procedure, and the shamans are teaching me, apprenticing me at the same time. This is how you deal with it. And it's a very non-judgmental thing. They're not judging the shamans. These are master shamans, thousands of ceremonies. They've seen and heard stuff that you and I will never hear and see, right? And unless we go down that path. And they were just teaching me because they're doing multiple levels of teaching all the time. They're showing me. They're allowing me to piggyback on how they're working the situation. And they said, notice how we have no judgment of Jehovah. In fact, it's kind of a respectful business deal almost. We're smart. We have our protection because he'll pick any opening he has, this dark energy. Imagine the Emperor of Star Wars, basically, okay? They'll use any trick in the book to hook you and drain your energy and mess with you and suck you into their side, okay? But notice that we're respectful of it. We don't judge them. We're not angry at them, but we are on our toes. We are very, very aware and crystal clear with what's going on. But we don't have, it's almost a respectful fight. You understand? And once the deal is what the deal is, Jehovah knows he's got no chance, he leaves.
Okay.
So this is not, oh, Jehovah, come join our side. Why don't you give that up? Why are you such a nasty guy? Mm-hmm. That's not going to work.
Okay.
You're dealing with principalities and entities here that have certain functions in the universe. And they do their job with simply being who they are. And it's not wrong that they are that way, but you don't try to invite them to dinner unless you want that kind of stuff in your life. And so we go through a phase of being scared of them, then hating them, and then coming into sort of a respectful allowing that there exists fungus in the universe, or there exists hyenas. Pick hyenas. Most people are like, hyenas are kind of weird or something, you know, or some animal that you think shouldn't exist, whatever. But so you have to be very powerful. This is not about, oh, I allow them to exist. No. If you get the hit, if Archangel Michael comes in, I watched in those ceremonies, I watched the light from the shamans, the power of the light of us, disintegrate these demons.
Yeah.
Disintegrate them. Now, that's worse than killing them. You're disintegrating their existence.
Okay, so is that pretty much the solution, Tobias, when it comes to, you know, staying off their radar, so to speak? Somebody in the chat just said delete and detach.
Sometimes. If it is in you, you can't do that. Then you're denying what's in you. If you have engagement, past lives or in other alternate dimensions, with beings, your only chance is to, I sound like a broken record, face it, face them. Don't judge them, forgive them. Right? Face it, feel it, forgive it, free it. You need to acknowledge their right to be. That's why around masters you have both the angelic hosts and the demonic hosts. Because masters are nexuses, vortexes, 0 points, black holes and white holes of multiple dimensions occurring all at the same time. Shiva, the full god of the Hindu pantheon, has an army of demons and ghouls. He has no demon on them. And he also has hosts and armies of angels. Now this is, I'm talking about seeds of allowing the yin and the yang of the universe, you know. But this is not about, you know, I knew a teacher, American gentleman who woke, very awake man, and he would joke about it, walking out his property in Sedona. He would occasionally chop the heads off some rattlesnakes with a machete. And it would hurt the spiritual people that he was teaching. Now, he wouldn't do this, you know, but it was a lesson, right? And he said he would twinkle at them and go, now, he was only doing it with the flow of the Tao. This is not something he did regularly. And he would say, I'm just liberating them. People who are Buddhist, I shouldn't harm, you know, that's, I understand. We are not bodies. We are not bodies. These are temporary housings. 80 years is nothing. So for you to worship your body and go, I must save my body at all costs, you're an idolater.
See, now you're bringing up something else that was going on in the chat. And here's the music, of course. Very good points made, Tobias, but we'll hold that till after the break. Stay tuned, everyone. We will be right back with Tobias Lars here on SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Welcome to the world's meeting place. American.
It's practically narcotics.
Freedom.
Oh, yes. I like very much.
Radio.
You're an American institution.
American Freedom Radio.
All right, welcome back, and thanks again for joining us here tonight with Tobias Lars here on Soul Journeys Radio. And big topic tonight, and lots of questions, lots of stuff going on. We're going to try to get to all of it. Okay, Tobias, let me ask you this. I've seen, and it's even kind of coming up here in the chat tonight, that it's all about money, they just want more money and this and that, which, obviously isn't true when you really look at the big picture, because whoever the they are, they already have all the money in the world. And, if not, of course, they, have a bankster buddy that can put a couple zeros, on a computer screen, and then all of a sudden they do have all the money. So it's obviously there's something else going on here besides just wanting your money.
Yeah. At first it is for some people. When you don't have money, you'll worship money. I mean, let's be honest. The real worship in our culture currently is money worship, for the common people. Church, yeah, fine. Religion, God, fine. Yeah, okay. Let's make a deal. Yeah, I'm in,
Yeah.
The orgasm that people have. What was that show that Howie Mandel did? The millionaire show, the suitcases. What was it called? I forget.
I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah. Deal or millionaire or something. Or that is what gets people turned on. You talk to people about God and spirituality, they don't get as excited as when they win $1 million on a game show. So where your excitement is, that's what you're worshiping. What makes you all tingly and butterfly and sweat with excitement? So let's just be honest. We're worshiping. When you don't have the money, you worship the money. For most people in the culture, we're money worshipers. We're money worshipers. And let's just be honest. The first step of the 12-step program is to get real. And if we get real, that's what we're doing. And then even if you're angry at the money game, you're still worshiping money. If you're like, I'm the 99%, and I want to have a free money for everyone, and I want to start the Venus Project and do all this and get real, I want to evolve past money. But if you still have anger at money inside you, you're still hooked in the money game. So in order to evolve past the money game, you need to go through it. There's no way around stuff, but there's a way through it. You need to go through it. What you embrace, you erase. What you resist, persists. If you're angry at it, you freeze it into place. What happens to your dog when you're angry at them and yell at them? They kind of cower and blink and freeze up, don't they?
I guess I'm going to have to try that.
No, you don't do that with
I've
snakes.
never had to yell at my dog.
Gotcha. But if you do it with a baby.
Yeah, definitely. Or when you get yelled at, duh.
You kind of freeze up.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, when you yell at the universe, it tends to freeze up too.
That makes sense.
When you yell at the people and go, you're freaking wrong, you suck, I hate you, it doesn't really lubricate the system and keep things flowing. What you resist, you freeze into place. What you're angry at, what you resist, persists. What you embrace, and love, if you will, true love, what you embrace, you erase or allow to flow again. So if you want to heal money, you need to start allowing it to be what it is, and then it will go away naturally. On the Pleiades, there's no money. They don't use money. There's plenty for everyone.
Yeah.
So once you have plenty, once you're in the billionaire club, if you have a billionaire club somewhere on the planet that owns an island somewhere, when you go there, you don't look at the bill at the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
You don't care about money. It doesn't matter. It's about something else. So it becomes about energy. The deeper game in the galaxy is about soul energies. The highest commodity in the universe is soul essence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Soul essence, because that is life force. That is power. And so there's these draining mechanisms, certain ETs, archons, watchers, evil ETs, quote-unquote, the ones that are here to feed off of humans. They don't give a crap about gold or money. I know the Anunnaki supposedly were into gold, but that's because they needed it for their atmosphere on their planet back home. But they don't... Yeah. Do you think they care about having a bank account? No. What are they after? They're after soul essence. And if you get a bunch of people, again, worshiping you and praying to you, or sending you their hatred, sending you their hatred feeds off of it just as well. Worship in fear, cowering in fear. Oh, God, please don't smite me. Oh, I praise the Lord, praise the Lord. There's a lot of fear in there if you feel it.
Yes.
Okay? Because there's a fear of not being inside with God and being punished or being left out in the cold or left behind. What a bunch of garbage those books were. What a bunch of fear-mongering garbage. That just shows that how deep the fear is in the collective, that these guys can make millions of dollars. It's all good, though. I mean, they're all teaching people the hard way. You can learn the hard way through pain and suffering, or you can learn it through some wisdom and discrimination. So the game is not about money at a certain level. It's about soul essence. It's about feeding off the masses, about, implanting the chip and the one world government, all that stuff. Absolutely. That's what they feed off, because they bathe in that energy. They feed themselves with that energy. That's the path that needs to feed off of other things, other beings. The path that connects directly to Source God within yourself, the kingdom of heaven is within, that path does not need other people to feed off of. In fact, you enjoy yourself when you're by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You enjoy just being able to be quiet and have time. Lately I've been so busy, I've been a little irritable. Because I miss my time of just sitting and being.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what the yogis call the pleasure of the self. Your basic nature is pleasure, bliss, enjoyment, ecstasy, and the first sign of God is joy, right? Yeah. So that's a telltale sign, by the way, on how you can tell good from bad spiritual teachers. In a sense, are they needing new converts all the time? Big red flag. Can they relax and enjoy themselves and just goof on themselves, make fun of themselves, play with a dog in the grass?
Yeah. Are they kind to animals?
Are they willing to go kind of like Yogananda or Osho? No, I don't want any money. I just want to finish this up so I can go be and enjoy life and God. They don't have an agenda. They don't have a push to create converts. They have something to deliver, but they're not self-aggrandizing. They don't really care. They might enjoy simple, beautiful things. That's fine, but they don't have this manic, addictive thing about accumulating stuff. They're not hoarders, Mm-hmm. True spiritual teachers are not hoarders. Fake spiritual teachers are hoarders.
Yes.
They hoard people. They hoard organizations. They hoard money. They hoard all kinds of stuff because they know they can't go to the well inside themselves. They need to feed on outer energies. You're either have your inner energy awake to connect. Connect inside yourself. That's true spirituality. Then you can share that with others if you want. And then there are beings, as you move along this path, also there will be beings coming to you that want to feed off you. And often that's people that don't know they're doing it.
Yeah.
They don't know they're doing it. They think they're doing a good thing. Oh, Tobias, we're doing this fundraiser. We want to raise funds to save the cockle-throated bird tweeter. I don't know what. and you don't. We'd love to have you. And if I feel it on an energy level, sometimes it's a yes, and sometimes it's a no. And that's freedom. A true spiritual teacher says never forces you or guilt trips you into doing stuff. I shouldn't say never, but it's not their basic modus operandi. They will allow you your freedom. They are not trying to get you to make...
Not telling you you're going to go to hell if you don't do whatever it is they're trying to get you to do.
Here's another telltale sign. Mm-hmm. Commitments and oaths are definitely energy-feeding teachers, okay?
Yeah.
You must make a sacred vow to be one of the main bringers back of the holiness onto the earth. This is a very serious thing, and we will do a ceremony and a ritual where you will make an oath that you will hold the space for this. This is very important. The angels are watching. The elders are watching. You must make this sacred oath. Once you make this oath, you can never break it. That's bullshit.
Yeah, because you're a lady of fire.
That's the biggest horse pocky ever, okay? Because God doesn't do that. God is committed to you, but he doesn't make you swear oaths to him. He will receive your commitment, but you are free to go anytime. You can change your mind any time with God because there is free will. Now, God is smart enough that if you're a vacillating kind of, you have no clue what you really want to do, he's not going to hook you into a project where he actually needs someone to get stuff done. Okay? God very lovingly will say, no, it's not quite time for you. Or, maybe you want to try this instead for a while. God knows your next step beautifully. God does not make you swear oaths of allegiance. That's another telltale sign of energy-feeding spiritual teachers. God will say, let's partner up for a while, and when you change your mind or when we're done, it's for a season, we don't know when it's over. And you trust that because you don't need that particular ego personality. God is no respecter of ego personality. God is no respecter of persons. What does that mean? That sounds bad when that says that in the Bible. What he's saying is, I don't respect your little ego idiosyncrasies. That's not what I'm talking with or working with. I'm working with your soul and your heart. And that I will love no matter what you do. Mm-hmm. Even if you go to the dark side for a while to try it out. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Some people are bringing up here on the chat, so many people have, different vows, and they brought up vows of celibacy and secret vows. And, are vows ever okay?
No. Exactly. We're not saying never. See, the thing always never. That's another telltale. No. There's a time for vows. There's a time for everything under heaven. There's a time for celibacy vows. There was, and that's lessening on earth now. There was a time for the last few thousand years where celibacy vows, because of the collective energy around all that, that was one of the ways to transmute that sexual energy into higher functioning Kundalini, Holy Ghost, activating the higher centers. Yes. Now that has changed. I know in my personal life, this lifetime, there's no celibacy vows. There's no shortage of energy. See, in a system that has a shortage of energy, you need to conserve the energy only use it for certain things. Or if you're so addicted from other lifetimes and samskaras and other patterns and habits that you don't know how to appropriately discern healthy or denial sexual energy from enhancing, awakening, loving, if you will, supporting sexual energy. If you don't know how to discern the two, it's probably a good idea that you do some abstention.
Yeah, someone's asking on the chat, which, reminds me once again of myself. Speaking of vows, she said that when she was a teen, she had to vow to God or make a vow with God or who she thought was God that she would not kiss anyone.
Wait. I just saw God going, hey, don't include me in this. Leave me out.
Well, I know. That's why I said who she thought was God, because I made the same vows. That she would not kiss anyone till she was married, and, she had to make vows that she wouldn't have sex till getting married. And although I wasn't necessarily forced to make those vows, I certainly did too. I mean, and then, of course, when that didn't work out, I'm like, oh, my God, now I'm cursed, right? And cried to go, oh, I'm so sorry, I'll never do that again, and on to 10 years of celibacy.
Okay, wait, Christie, right there. What you just said is a telltale sign. The backsliding, the back end, the backside, the flip side of the vow is, I'm cursed, I'm a bad person.
Yes, exactly. That's why I bring it up.
That's a telltale sign of not God.
Yes, very good point.
So anytime that thing comes in, and see, I don't make absolutes. There's no absolutes. There's a time for fear. That's a motivator as well. There is a time for all of that. But at a certain point in the soul's evolution, we start becoming like God's source, because that's who we are in our deepest parts. But on the way there, like I say, the military and prison sometimes is a good thing for people.
Yeah.
For people who can't control themselves, they need outer control.
Yeah, no, I've definitely seen that. People that were grateful to, like, please arrest me, I need to go to prison. But, okay, so I guess in differentiating which vows are healthy or unhealthy, the ones that, like myself and the people expressing on the chat, the ones that you vow to do something for fear of being cursed, probably not so healthy. But if you choose to make a vow to yourself for whatever reason, without any fear of anything, then that's probably a healthier one. Is that right?
How about an intention or a commitment to myself, a promise to myself? An intention, I like, is better, because even a promise and a commitment implies failure, implies duality. So it's like an intention is what I do nowadays, an intention.
Okay, that feels good. All right, Tobias, it is that time again, darn it. We will be right back after these few short minutes. Stay tuned. Tobias Lars here on SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Welcome to the world's meeting place. American
It's practically narcotics.
Freedom
Oh, yes, I like very much.
Radio.
They're an American institution.
American Freedom Radio.
All right, welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. This is the last segment with St. Toby One Kenobi, otherwise known as Tobias Lars. He is a personal awakening coach and the author of Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls. SoulCounseling.com is the website. And Tobias, so much to talk about, so little time, so I'm just going to hand it over to you.
The high priestess, Christie, Aphrodite.
That was a couple of my past lives, okay? I can't argue that.
Yeah.
Just as well you can't argue a saint.
These saints are annoying. They're like way too uptight. So we're trying to undo all that. Anyway, I was going to say, I hope, like sometimes, I hope it doesn't happen, but it'd be fun if it does. Like, when I forget to mute myself, you guys are going to get to hear me singing along with the songs.
Woo!
But look what he says there, Clapton. I think it's Eric Clapton singing. And where he says, I'm standing at the crossroads, and he's choosing something. Follow your interest. What intrigues you? What's interesting to you? What's giving you energy, a boost? Be discerning, because you can get temporary energy out of eating 12 donuts at once or going down the dark hand path, okay? See, the seduction is you get temporary energy and then you get eaten yourself. That's sort of the denial dark path is you get power over others, but there's someone bigger than you that's going to just use you up too, okay? So choose that, if that's what you're choosing. Learn to discern more about what is the Tao, what would God do, what would natural energy do in this situation, not my programming, meaning, I should be nice to them and go rescue them and, what's really happening. Start becoming a natural human, just like our animals will react naturally. They are more in touch with the Tao, with the flow. It's time to become natural humans again that work with the energy that is real, not this made-up, man-made guilt, push this and shove, and you're not disconnect us from our natural God instincts, our natural higher self. See, we've been told we're like the animals, Darwinism stuff. We're not. By the way, that would be an improvement, by the way, if we were like the animals. If we could tap into total human animal nature, it would be actually good. It's the twisted, infested guilt thing. So start making an intention. I want to live more naturally. Let me show what's going on, what's in people, what's in myself. I have an intention for healing if this is what you want. I want to clean out my system. See, it gets more fun, more interesting, more enjoyable when you start being more present and more aware. Now, whether that's like Eckhart Tolle, Mr. Smurf of Enlightenment, Mr. Sweetie Gentle Pie, or it's Don Juan Matus, Carlos Castaneda's teacher, who's like Toltec master of nihilism and annihilation, working purely directly with energy, and he doesn't care what people think about him at all. He's got no public role. And everything in between. It's all good. Feel what you're attracted to. Now, remember, just because it's spiritual, we didn't talk so much about this, so I wanted to mention it. I have in here, is there black magic in Tibetan monasteries? Because the cool thing is, because Richard Gere's into the Dalai Lama, you know what I'm saying? That I'm teasing, but it's kind of true. We give a pass to these spiritual societies. Well, the reality is in the Tibetan traditions, there's some nasty black magic that goes on, some real soul control, okay? And parts of it are good. It's the usual thing. You need to separate the good from the bad. Ayahuasca is an amazing teacher. She heals stuff like unbelievable. There's people now learning in Canada, France, everywhere about it. It totally heals heroin addicts. It gets them off the stuff, and it heals the underlying causes. It opens you up spiritually. She's going to be a huge, huge teacher in the years to come. But there are dark shamans that work with ayahuasca as well and use it to control people. Because the only way we learn to discern for ourselves, we become our own guru. Get that picture on the wall, I am my teacher, as well as using other teachers. Let people help you and realize that I'm helping me. I'm helping me by letting them help me. Because it's about me waking up. The only place you can wake up is in you. You can't wake up through them. If they wake up, they don't wake you up. You got to wake you up. It's like a swimming coach. The swimming coach can't say, well, I'll get in here and swim for you. No, you got to swim. So the only place you can have the real healing is in yourself. You can allow teachers and allow loving friends and soulmates and teachers to help you. Does it exist in our temples, mosques, and churches? Of course there's evil crap going on. Hello? Sexual, child molestation, stealing of money, ripping off the widows. It goes on, of course. Does it go on in yoga circles? Yes. Does it go on in shamanic circles? Yes. Are there skinwalkers up on Hopi land where we go that misuse the power and use fetishes and do all kinds of stuff? Yes. Can you touch an African priest fetish and have it infect your body for years with stuff? Yes, you can.
Yes.
Does that stuff really work? Yes, it does. So you don't have to know all those details unless you're interested. But the protection also is your heart, your love. You know what feels right. Those young 16-year-old girls walking home from school, they don't know about all this stuff. But they know that creepy guy coming at them. They go, hey, no, get out of here. We're leaving.
Yeah.
They don't have to know all the details. You don't have to know all the details. You just can go, that feels off to me. Use your intuition.
Yes, and trust that.
And accept that you're learning, because we are seduced by these things. All along we're seduced, and people get off the train, because as you're trying to merge the polar opposites, the yin and the yang, the black and the white, the good and the evil, there are certain points where you go, I can't do that yet. And be real with where you're at and exactly what you feel. Ask questions. Try not to judge so much and go, well, I don't know about that yet, and I can't make a decision, and I'm going to leave that alone for a while. I don't want to go there quite yet. This is where I'm at. This is what's real for me. I want to vow between me and my wife, we're raising kids. Then that's perfect God thing for you. No push. Be what feels like the next step is the most holy thing you can do. The next step for you is the individual soul. Know this, that Source God, there is a reason behind all this stuff that goes on. Okay? Whether it looks evil to you or weird or different or strange, you can say, I don't know about that yet. I just know it's not for me right now. And if you get caught up in some of this stuff, always remember, you can always change your mind, like the holy Led Zeppelin says. Right? There's two roads you can go by. You got the quote better than me. But there's
never time to change the road you're on. Make me say it again.
There's an actual fact on the dark path and the white path, even up in the higher echelons at the levels of Jesus in the fifth dimension, you can change sides. Okay? I'll leave you with that tidbit. You can change sides. You can change. It's a game of Professor Moriarty and Sherlock Holmes. It's a game. When I watched Jehovah negotiate with the shamans, in a sense I could feel respect between the two of them. Him and his two henchmen, who were like, you don't want to meet them in a dark alley, and the three shamans, they were standing there negotiating, and the trump card is God, and the choice of that soul that is being helped. That soul, whatever the soul chooses, whatever you choose inside yourself, the universe will support. If you are like, I want to explore controlling other people, I want to explore, quote, what's been called the dark side, the universe says, go for it. And, do it. But there are spiritual physics about it, meaning you will not be able to come feed off God's bosom, in a sense. In a way, you will be learning to feed off of his creation or her creation. It's just a different way of doing it. So try to see through, if you're in the role of Archangel Michael is a warrior, an ultimate warrior. But at the same time, he's not judging, he's performing a function. I used to do karate, taekwondo. There were times in fighting where I would go into this very calm, peaceful place. I would be very calm. Time would slow down. I'm kicking the guy in the head, okay? But I am not judging. There's no anger. In fact, we learned if you succumb to judgment and anger, you were not as good a fighter.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful in a way. And that's why even in that art form of martial arts or MMA, mixed martial arts, the stuff that women go, oh my God, they're punching each other in the face, there's blood. And when it rises to that level, even with Frazier and Ali, for people that remember that, there was some respect there. Like, all that stuff, Ali would say to Joe Frazier's little son, who was 10, I'll try to hurry it up here, he would...
Okay, I don't hear you at all, Tobias, unfortunately, so I guess that was where we are left for the evening. Perhaps we can... get back to that topic another time in the future, but fantastic job tonight, Tobias. I'm definitely understanding things a little bit more clearly now. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing your time with us, as always, every Thursday night here at Soul Journeys Radio. And thank you all for joining us here tonight, sharing your time with us. It really means a lot, that you choose to spend your time here. So thank you all for that. Once again, Tobias's website is soulcounseling.com. Have a wonderful evening and blessed weekend. We'll see you next week here, same time, same place. souljourneysradio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
You're listening to the future of talk. American Freedom Radio. This is American Freedom Radio.